Hi, I'm Tom Elliott with Deepwardly Spiritual Direction Services. I was recently at dinner with a married couple. They've been married for several years. And during the course of dinner, I noticed that the woman was often talking at her husband rather than with her husband. And so the next morning in prayer, I found myself just being drawn back to that nuanced difference between talking at and talking with. You and I do that all the time. We often turn conversations into a talking at rather than a talking with. What do I mean by that? When you and I talk at someone, it generally means that we're trying to get them to do something for us. Or maybe we're interested in trying to get our opinion across, and we're not really interested in their opinion. Or we're just wanting to share our story, our experience, and we don't want them to share, or we're not interested in them sharing their story or their experience. That's different than talking with someone. When we talk with someone, there's a mutuality, there's an intimacy, there's a reciprocity, there's a giving and a receiving that's really personal. Well, as I reflected on that in prayer, I realized that it's very easy for us to do that in our relationship with God too. It's very easy for you and I to turn personal prayer into talking at God rather than talking with God. What might that look like? That might look like us trying to get God to do what we want Him to do, where we turn personal prayer time into intercessory prayer. We want God to fix this or that. We're praying that God do this or that for particular people or situations. Or maybe it's just turning personal prayer into sharing our opinion with God or our experiences or stories with God with no desire or openness to letting God share with us. Personal prayer becomes so much more intimate and beautiful when we allow it to be time spent talking with God rather than just at God. What might that look like? Well, it's a sharing of stories, a sharing of hearts. It might be us sharing the deepest movements of our hearts with God and then giving God an opportunity to respond with His story. For example, maybe what we want to share with Jesus is the pain of losing a loved one. And we take time in prayer to share that with God. And then maybe we break open sacred scripture to the story of Jesus' pain at the death of his friend Lazarus. We all remember that powerful sentence. I think it's the shortest sentence in Scripture where it simply says that Jesus wept at the death of his friend Lazarus. And we let Jesus share with us the pain, the sorrow, the grief that he experienced in that loss. That is talking with God, not merely at God. I invite us to take stock of our personal prayer time. Have we been talking with God or at God? For other presentations and online retreats, please visit my website at www.deepwardly.com. May God bless you.